Okay, there's lots and lots of videos out there on the internet about what we mean by a mole. So I'm not going to try to reproduce what they're doing there. I want to simply show you how to use the skill of working out the number of moles and what the equation is that you really need to stick in your head. Essentially, a mole, very briefly, is the way in chemistry we refer to amounts. Okay, so the word amount in chemistry is the number of moles. 1 mole is when there's an enormous number, a particular fixed number of the substance we're talking about. So that number is 6.02 times 10 to the times 10 to the 20 times 10 to the 23, which is what we call Avogadro's number. If you've got a mole of something, you've got that number of them. That's all it means. For chemistry, we need to, when we're talking about any of the calculation skills to come, we need to be able to work out the number of moles of something. And you can work out the number of moles of something because the number of moles, which we usually give the symbol mn to, and the units are moles, is equal to the mass, that must be in grams, divided by the relative formula mass, which we're going to give the symbol mr. If it's an element on its own, it'll be the relative atomic mass AR, but I'll usually write mr here. So mass is equal, moles is equal to mass over mr, and very often we have to be able to use the rearranged form of that, which is the mass is equal to mr times n in moles. Okay, the two versions of that equation. Now, for some people, this is the easier one to remember. You just imagine a little creature, Mr. Mole. Just imagine a little man called Mr. Mole. Mr times mole. So mass is equal to Mr. Mole. One way of remembering it, people like. So if, like in these few questions at the top here, you're asked to work out the number of moles of some substances, you simply have to do the number of moles is equal to the mass, which is 90, divided by the formula mass, which is 1 add 1 add 16, which is 90 over 18, and that comes to 5. Do the same thing again, number of moles, we should always write the units of course. Number of moles, I'll do one more question here and I'll do some at the bottom. So number of moles is 20 divided by the formula mass, so C4, which is 48, add 10 to 58, 20 divided by 58, and that comes to 0.34 moles. We've got to be really careful though, because sometimes we're given the information, in fact quite often we're given the information in the exam in either kilograms or milligrams. We must always convert to grams first, and we get a mark for recognizing that. So be really careful, look out for that in your exams. So 2 kilograms is equal to 2,000 grams. So show the examiner you know that, and then just work out the moles in the usual way. So 2,000 divided by the formula mass of aluminium oxide, which is 102. 2,000 divided by 102 comes to 19.6 moles. If it's milligrams, 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. So 20.6 divided by 1,000. If you're not sure, pop it in the calculator. Don't take a chance. 0.0206. I hope I've got that right. Embarrassing if I haven't now. Went it 1, 2, 3. That's okay. So the mass is 0.0206 divided by the formula mass of gold. Just quickly find that on the periodic table. Is 197. So 0.0206 divided by 197 comes to 1.05 if I round up, times 10 to the minus 4 moles. Okay. It might be you have to work out the mass from the moles though. Remember, mass is equal to mr times moles, as I said at the start. So it's just a case of doing 4, which is the number of moles, so the mass equals to 4 times the formula mass, which is 28. So that's 56, 100 and, probably got that wrong, am I? 28, I'll just do a calculator to make sure I get it right. It is 112. 112 grams, always give the units. And I'll do one more example. I'll do question E. The mass in grams is equal to the number of moles times the formula mass. Formula mass is 12 add 12 for the 2 carbons, add 5 for the 5 hydrogens, add 1 oxygen, which is 16, add 1, and that comes to 46. So 0.4 times 46, and that comes to 18.4 grams. So very straightforward to work out the number of moles. So we're going to need that in some of the skills we're about to work on.